And let's see if it pops up. Oh yeah, I guess I keep forgetting about the stupid. Oh, there it is. All right, test. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. Cool. All right. Hello, everybody. Episode 4 of the United Voluntary podcast. We have kind of a heavy episode today that we're all try to struggle through together. A lot of us have had kind of personal connections to this subject of what exactly goes on in a lot of the jails across the country, and how, even though these places have cameras facing every single angle and they're supposed to be the most secure and quote unquote safe places in the country, so often people happen to die under mysterious circumstances, or kind of have weird things go on, and the police never want to be very upfront about what happens, and justice never really seems to come out of it. So today I have a few different people with us. I obviously have my co-host Kitty.
Hey, what's up?
Have our good friend Summer and my good friend Mac from the community.
Oi.
How's everybody? How's everybody hanging on today?
I enjoyed the weather a lot better yesterday.
I was going to go to bed.
And then now you're here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so this all kind of came about due to something that happened all in our community, kind of the most recent example of this awful shit that goes on all the time, of a man named Anthony Hoolan, who happened to experience exactly what we're talking about. And Kitty here actually was on the ground and participated in a lot of the protests for him, and has connections with his family, trying to break down what exactly happened to this man and get some answers. So I don't know if you want to go into that, Kitty, and I'll pull up some information on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's on video. They caught it on video in the city jail. And this happened April 11th. So this was before George Floyd. News about it didn't leak until around October. And the family even had, they couldn't get information from the jail or from the city on what happened. He was arrested for a domestic dispute, transported to Sparrow for a little bit. He was under the influence of drugs. But they took him back to the jail, where he started to have a medical emergency. And pretty much, instead of getting him help, they, put him on the ground, had him shackled. 3 officers were on his back and killed him. And like I said, the city didn't tell the family anything. They had to dig and dig and dig and to get any information from him. And now they are filing a lawsuit against Chief Green, the officers involved, and as of yesterday, the mayor, Andy Shore.
Because he had a part in burying all of it, didn't he?
Oh yeah, and then we had the George Floyd protests, and Mayor Shore's out there walking with the NAACP, saying, "Oh, this stuff will never happen in our city." Chief Green and a lot of police officers stood there and redid their vows to be better police officers, all while knowing they had done the exact same thing a month prior, 6 weeks prior.
And not obviously not to draw too much of a comparison, but arguably in a worse circumstance, because George Floyd was out on the street and everything. That's kind of a different situation. He was in jail.
Yes.
You had him in apparently your center of power, where you as a police officer are supposed to have the most control over the situation. And that just goes to, it goes to show a lot of these arguments about, oh, they were outnumbered, they didn't have the equipment, they didn't, blah, blah, blah. All that's bullshit, because they do the same kind of thing in jail, where there's bars, there's multiple officers, it's the highest security, and they'll still end up committing these kind of fucking acts of violence against people, despite having all the power and authority in the world.
Yes, and actually included in one of those news articles, if you want to play it, is the actual video. And I do want to warn viewers that the videos that will be playing tonight are graphic. So it is death by cop. So please just be warned if this is a sensitive issue with you. that these videos will be played today.
Yes. So I think this is the guy right here.
Yep.
Okay.
What's their premise for doing all this? Have they come out and made a statement?
Yeah, like she was saying, it was a domestic dispute. He was intoxicated.
What's the premise? No, I'm talking not for why he was arrested. The premise
Why
for
they're all
having,
up on him right now?
Yes. Have they made a statement as to why?
Sorry, I muted my mic. I don't remember reading anything about that.
See, that's sketchy as hell right there.
Yeah, he's clearly in distress. Like, he's not throwing punches, not throwing kicks or anything.
He's shackled behind.
He's just freaking the fuck out. Like,
well, it appears he was freaking out when they pulled his shoulders back. Now, something having been arrested with permanent nerve damage from that arrest, I've had the cops pull on my handcuffs from behind and cause me extreme distress and pain in my shoulders.
Yeah, that's the thing that pisses me off about like so many resisting arrest things is they put you in intentionally uncomfortable positions where like you know me personally, I have like issues with my joints and stuff like that because of my fibro. And like, so if a lot of positions I've been in when I've arrested have caused me like extreme pain, but then if you like wiggle or anything, then the cops get more aggressive with you and they start putting more hands on you. And it's like, I understand to a point that like you're supposed to get this person under control, but you, at the same time, you're justifying more force against someone when you're making them be uncomfortable, in pain. Like he's under the influence. He's in a tiny box. Don't know if he has, claustrophobia or anything like that. He's got 4 grown men pushing and pulling on him. And their first reaction when he's uncomfortable is to, all of them just sit on him essentially. And he was having a medical emergency and that's why he died. And then they act like not, and it goes to show to where if they were innocent in the matter, then they wouldn't have buried it and they wouldn't have sat on it.
Yeah.
The coroner did come out and say that it was death from asphyxia, from positional
asphyxiation.
Yes, thank you. So, I mean, he would not have died had they not done that, and it's shown in the coroner's report. Yeah, they always decide they need to come in. But I know his family, they do want justice. They do want his story told, but they also want him to be remembered for who he was prior to this. A caring brother. He always talked about NASCAR and cars and, just a great brother, great son. And that's.
Yeah, sorry, it's just fucking heavy.
It is heavy. It is a heavy topic.
I thinking kind of neutrally about it. It doesn't matter if the person is one of the scummiest people on the planet. The police aren't executioners. They are not judge, jury, and executioner. Their job, as police officers, they should be held to a higher standard, not given free passes like they've been getting consistently, at least throughout my life. 30 some fucking years.
And they have all the power in that situation. Like they could literally have just like he already has cuffs on, so they could have just left the fucking cell, shut the door, and let him calm down, and then try it again. And maybe if he was still like up or whatever, maybe tase him, or maybe get more people so you can just pick him up and carry him, like whatever you got to do. But instead they just go for this, and this is something you notice in cops a lot, where they just want frustrated convenience. Like there's easier way, well, not easier. There's safer ways they can go about it, but they just want to get it done now. So
Right.
whatever they need to do now to make you comply, they're going to do it. And this is so often where you have cases like George Floyd and you have cases like Anthony, where their impatience and their willingness just to fucking manhandle people without concern or care of what's going on leads to this. Oh, hey, homie's in here too.
Right. There's
Yeah.
no
What's up, my man?
de-escalation.
Hey. Yeah,
You're
I mean,
muted,
I
by the
don't
way.
think
What
I
up?
don't think
What up?
the thing is, you know, yes, everybody deserves to be treated poorly, but I think the family doesn't want him to just be remembered as being killed in the jail, but is what
Right.
I was meaning.
Yeah, because
So-
a lot of time,
Yeah.
these victims
Right.
that die in the hands of police, kind of that's all they're ever known for anymore. You even see that kind of with Garrett Foster and everything, where a lot of people forget like how much community outreach and homeless outreach he did, and they only focus on the event. So I definitely understand the families thing going on there. But yeah, like welcome everybody. My boy Black Fag here. You guys have your own kind of thing going on. We're gonna get to that too in your community along the lines of this.
Yeah,
So-
Saturday. I'm excited about that. I'm excited because Greenville Police Department is a known racist police department, and we gonna go there Saturday to call them out on that shit.
Hell yeah.
That's
Well,
simple as that. We got to call them out. It's going to keep happening.
yeah, towards the end of this, we'll have you break down the event and everything and shout that out so we can get some more people there, some more eyeballs on it.
For sure.
But
for sure.
so yeah, we have Anthony, and then Summer, if you want to go over what exactly happened.
With Priscilla Slater.
Yeah, with Priscilla Slater. I'm trying to pull up an article for it real quick.
Yeah, so she was arrested by Harper Woods Police Department, which is a suburb of Detroit, on June 9th at about 1:30 a.m. And for something her boyfriend did, doesn't matter. So it's just a case of a different kind of brutality. She was arrested. She was booked into the jail. She died the next day in her cell, and she was left there unresponsive. Nobody came to help her. She wasn't found until noon, and later, after they requested all the records, it was shown that she had a seizure in her cell around 5 a.m. and was left unattended to until her body was found at noon. So in this scenario, it's just a case of negligence where they don't care. People aren't being treated, like humans, even when they are, incarcerated. And that's a huge issue as well. The other issue is actually the two police, the officers, the chief, and then another officer ended up getting fired because they falsified reports on her death. They had them take out certain information in the reports, but her death is still a mystery. There is no justice here yet. And it's going on. This is June 10th, so we'll be at a year before we know it. And, it's ongoing, and it shouldn't be. I don't think the police being fired for falsifying that information is enough either. So
yeah, they straight up lied around conditions that led to a death of a human being. And
Right.
and I've personally sat in jail more than a few times, and I can tell you, if you do anything they don't like, they'll come real quick to come
Right.
check up on you.
Yeah.
But somebody having a medical emergency, somebody actually hurt, someone need help, they're
Right.
nowhere to fucking be seen.
Right. And the Wayne County Coroner's Office ruled it like a heart thing. But she was 38, and had no heart conditions. So they did another report, and it was shown that her liver had a lot of damage to it. And so in that report, they're saying that it was likely that it was actually an alcohol detox, which in any kind of detox, they need medical attention ASAP. That should be the first thing before you're incarcerated, or when you are in the booking, that is made known, and they make sure that all of those needs are met, you know, because things like this happen all the time where people end up dying in jail because they haven't been attended to the way they're supposed to. You know, that's why there's video cameras. That's why they're supposed to be doing their sweeps, and it's just unacceptable.
And a lot of these jails are supposed to have a medical officer on stand, like from a local hospital or something like that. So where the hell were they in this situation?
Exactly. Right.
And how much effort does it take to walk past a cell? You know, a lot of these places aren't that big.
No, no, they're not. You know, and not this jail either. And I mean, a lot more actually came down the pipe with this, because then the mayor resigned because his wife came out to one of our protests and actually ripped up one of the Priscilla Slater signs. So it was like a whole fiasco last year where...
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember going and marching down in Harperwood.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the fuck to say. Why?
Because
she died on your dime in your facility, motherfucker.
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And
that just made me legit mad. It just made me legit mad.
Yeah, and
Holy
it's still
fuck.
ongoing, you know?
And it's crazy. It's crazy because like I'll get to it more after this, but you know, we have Lansing, so that's more of the middle of the state. We have Harper Woods, which is by Detroit, the southeastern part of the state, and then they have a personal friend of mine that died under very similar circumstances, and that's all the way in northern Michigan. So that's the whole state that you have this problem, and that's why I tried to reach out to people to be like, do you know anybody? Because if this is just Michigan, then how much of this is happening in Ohio? How much of it happened in South Carolina? How much of this is happening in California? You know?
The Alexander Rios, who we'll go over next, happened in Ohio.
Yeah, I'm actually just to finish up Michigan. I'm gonna go on my personal story. This is a kid that was actually like in my high school. Like I went to school with this kid. I hung out with him all the time. Like he was a little bit of a shithead, but a sweetheart on the inside. Never could have harmed a bean, like a single bean. He was like 100 pounds, soaking fucking wet. You know, just normal, mellow, chill, like stoner dude. And what happened with him is he was picked up by Antrim County PD, and he did resist arrest when they picked him up, but he got detained on felony resisting arrest and I think a possession charge, and they brought him to Antrim County jail. The next day he was found dead, and the official police report was saying that he committed suicide in the cell, but they didn't say how he committed suicide in the beginning. They just said that he did.
Right.
About a couple months later, we get pictures of the autopsy because they were still holding his body, because this was all the way back, years and years ago. He looked like he was thrown down a hill. Like he had giant cracked orbital. His face was all blown out. His lips were all blown out. Like the police officers never said that they struck him when they arrested him or anything like that too much. He had multiple broken ribs, and their official story is that he committed suicide. And it's like, how the hell? And again, like I'm saying, like this kid's like 100 pounds.
Yeah.
And like even if those came from the resisting arrest charge, which I really doubt, then like you literally beat the shit out of this kid before you threw him in jail.
Exactly. And then he should have had medical attention. So.
And we still have no answers on this. This was all the way, I think it was 2013 when this happened. And we still don't have answers on this either. And nobody got fired. Nobody looked at it. Yeah, this was 2013.
Yeah, and I mean, at the car caravan that we had last Friday for Anthony, the family showed us a picture of what Anthony looked like when they brought his body home. And yeah, just beat to bloody hell. Like there's no reason for that at all.
No.
No,
not at all.
Yeah.
It always happens in the jail, which is just like wild to me. Because whatever you need to do, you could just put him in a cell, and then you could get more people.
And actually, there was a death prior to Anthony's in that exact cell. I think it was about 10, maybe 15 years ago. I'd have to do a little bit more digging on that one. I just kind of read a brief blip of it. But yeah, that's not the first death in the city jail. And like technically, we don't need the city jail. We have the county jail out in Mason. Like, just take them out to Ingham County, you know?
Right.
Yeah. I believe there's actually been 3 deaths in the city jail right downtown.
And you like none of this ever gets national news, really. We only know about it because it's our community.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and even when Anthony's came out, when it first came out, there was like an article, you know, just like Alexander Rios. I've only come across one article. And then, you know, when the family started fighting and they, there were groups like the Poor People's Campaign, America to Life was the first one that kind of had them on podcasts. And then We the Free People have started working with the family to get the word out about it. And now we finally have articles and, you know, getting a little bit more in depth on what happened and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
despite being public facilities, all these jails are real hesitant to hand over their video, and it's like, why? What are y'all doing in there? Are you worried something else is going to get caught? Like,
yeah, and like I said, what is even more irritating is that the mayor and the chief were out there May 31st saying, "Oh, this stuff never happens in Lansing."
Yeah, justice for George Floyd, even though we literally murdered a guy in the same way, like a couple fucking days earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
Fake allies, man.
Right. Even they requested under the Freedom of Information Act, police reports and video recordings for pertaining to Priscilla Slater, and it was denied. So it's like, okay, you know, like, come on. Like, isn't that the point of that whole thing, is that we can request that, you know? So
yeah, I remember it took a long time for the video.
Yeah, it took a really long time to get that video.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that you have to have a Freedom of Information Act as an actual law or
the information should already be there.
Right. Exactly. You shouldn't have to file paperwork for public information. It is public. It is publicly funded. That stuff should already be available without any request.
Right.
Yeah, and somebody in the chat, Zantu, asks, why is it wild that it happens in jails? The cops shoot, kill, choke, and beat up people in broad daylight with cameras on them. It's probably much worse behind closed doors. And
it is.
It's wild because it's not technically behind closed doors. Like they can't use the excuse of, oh, my body camera wasn't on or whatever, because there's live CVT filming every fucking thing in that jail from every single angle the whole time. And yet still this shit happens and we don't see the video or you know, infamously in the Epstein thing, the file was corrupted or some shit. Like, fuck off, you know? Like don't treat me like I'm stupid. Like you guys have
something. It's always
how convenient that there were no guards and the camera quit and all this other stuff right at that moment. Yeah.
So that's why it's particularly fucked up, because they'll use the excuse on the ground of like, oh, we don't have any footage of this no-knock raid because the officer forgot to turn on his body cam or some bullshit. Right. But yeah, in the jail they don't have that excuse, and yet still it takes sometimes years to get this what should be publicly accessible information on what the fuck is happening in these jails.
Right. So.
And yeah, if we want to go into Rios, I think it was right.
Yes.
In Ohio. And I got the video for this one too. So once again, anybody who's sensitive to this kind of shit, it's not pretty.
Yeah. So he was shoot, my mind just went blank on everything. But it was pretty much the same thing. You know, he got picked up for I believe it was a drug charge and was having a medical emergency. And this group of officers pretty much like stood around and cheered. And like somebody was like, oh, I think it was this one where they're like, tase him again.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the audio comes through on the stream. I'll play it either way.
So it sounds like a Kelly Thomas thing.
Oh God, Kelly Thomas. Ooh, that one.
Can you make it bigger, Magnus?
Yeah. 53 seconds into the video, officers open the cell door. Alex darts out.
So he did run out when they opened the door.
Why the hell did he bother opening the door?
Right.
He was in there.
Well, he was on a ledge.
Right, but he's having a crisis.
Right. I mean, look how many are on him.
I don't know about y'all, but I've had to restrain people, and it doesn't take 5 of me to restrain one person.
I mean, these are supposed to be like officers. Like they're supposed to be in shape and like strong and shit. And like you can't.
I'm not in shape, but I can restrain a person by myself.
And I mean, why punch him in the head when he's down?
Right.
That officer, if you notice up in the corner, puts his whole weight of, like, he stands on him and puts his whole weight on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trying to crush his skull, because that's
and I
what
mean, look,
they do.
He's turning blue.
Yeah, no shit, because your fat ass was on his fucking lungs. Oh my god.
Master Control, call the squad. Alex never regained consciousness.
Fuck, they killed him fast.
That so fucking pisses me off so bad, dude.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys heard, but the person who was filming was like, tase him.
Yeah. I don't know if the audio comes through, but they were like they had the subtitles, but they were excited, like tase him, get him. Like what the?
And he left 2 kids, 2 young boys.
Yeah.
With his death.
Sure.
With his murder.
And all these people who complain about, oh well, you know, he was having a mental crisis and the police just did what they had to. Most of these people have not been in jail. It is stressful. You deal with harassment nonstop. You deal with just an utter amount of bullshit. Like, a
lot of it's designed to make you uncomfortable. Like when I was in jail, they just they put me in a gown like that. It was cold as fucking hell. They give you like a fucking thin ass mat to sleep on. And and I was stressed with like nothing going on. If I was on something or if I was like having a fucking episode or something, the whole way the jail is set up can trigger a fucking panic attack. Right. And then you heard all those cops, they're all macho and shit and fucking screaming and laughing at him. And then the moment he actually looks like he's dying, they don't even have any urgency in their voice. They're like, oh, he's turning blue.
No, and at the end there, it looks like they're trying to he's like trying to prop him up. Like, aren't you gonna give him CPR or something? Like, actually try to start saving his life or what?
There's just got to be a better way because they always go to like the knee in the back and like putting all their fucking weight on somebody. And
right, knee on the back. That guy was standing on him, literally standing on him, and put his whole weight on him, on his neck. Yeah. There's no need for that.
No.
Like, and you know, there is a group in Ohio that is working on getting in action to bring attention to this case because, again, one news article, you know, and while they were digging, they actually came up with another news article from that same county where they, an older gentleman, the daughter called for the police to go do a welfare check.
Mm-hmm.
And she told them, she's like, hey, he's got guns, but he's nonviolent, never hurt anybody. Next thing you know, he's dead.
And then they shot him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which again, I anyone watching, do not ever fucking call the cops to do a welfare check on your family members.
No.
Never. It'll never go the way you think it will. Like, Jesus, I did that one time in my life and they beat the shit out of my brother. And I was literally just asking to see if anyone was at his house because I thought someone had broken into his house and they fucking broke into his house and beat the shit out of him. So like, thanks guys. I appreciate the fucking help.
There are cities. So this case, I'm sorry, was actually in 2019. I believe it was in September. The family also hasn't heard anything. You know, they had to ask and dig for information on him. You know, like I said, he's got 2 small kids that are, you know, parentless now. What else was I going to say? Shoot.
No, you're fine.
I forgot. Okay, go.
I'm just processing how pissed off I am about it. And Hibiscus brought up in the chat, like live stream this shit. Like have it be a perpetual live stream you can look on the internet of your fucking jails. And you know,
right. And even too, so what with that video, okay, he ran out. But you see how many officers are there. He's just in a gown. He is not armed, has nothing on him. So why is it that they immediately jump to lethal force to try to subdue him? You know, like it does not make sense.
It honestly, to me, like looking at the situation, it seemed like more and more of them wanted to get involved to kind of like quote unquote earn their stripes. Like they wanted to like participate in what's happening, and that's why you just see again like 2 of those guys could have fucking handled him, and you would have 5 cops on him, one standing on his back, the other one got his knee in his lungs, and it's like,
yeah,
what do you expect to happen?
Yeah, punching him in the head, like.
Well, it's Eric Gardner is the I Can't Breathe guy, right? I think, right?
There's been so many of them.
He was killed for selling loose cigarettes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They even that he's a super heavy set guy, and you're choking him, and you're putting all your body weight on his back. Like, what do you think happens? You know how?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, does it not cross through your mind of like, oh yeah, people have to breathe, and it requires like expansion of the fucking chest? Like, sorry, I'm all pissed off.
No, it's fine. And the reason I said that, Zach, is because every single person who has been, detained by police in some excessive way, the first thing they say is, "I can't breathe." You know what I mean? Because they're hoping that if they say that, you'll let them go.
Right. And we've been shown time and time again that that's not the case.
Yeah.
There's just got to be a better way. I can't say that I know there's what way to be or anything. Like, I don't know, train all these cops in fucking jujitsu or some shit. I don't know. Like, I don't have the answer. But it's not this. It's not this at all.
I remember what I was going to say now. Okay. There are a lot going back to don't call the cops for welfare checks. There are cities that are moving towards having mental health caretakers on their force. Lansing does have 5 of them now. The lead one, Jan Bidwell, is awesome. I've met her. I've worked with her. Then she's got, I believe they're interns at this point. I'm not sure exactly their status on the force. Denver, I believe, has gone to that. And I think they stated that there was between 500 or 700 welfare checks that they went to. And guess what? Nobody got shot. Nobody died. It's been proven that if you send out welfare or mental health advocates and provide support for these people that are having mental episodes, people don't die.
Yeah, because I brought this up on a Mike Bobby show, but when I was in 7th grade, I had like a fucking moment essentially, and I ended up calling the suicide hotline, and they automatically called the police, which is one reason I have issues with the hotline. That's a different story. And they thought it would be a good idea to send the cops to my house. And essentially, as soon as the cops went through my front door, they pointed a gun at my dog and almost shot my fucking dog. So it's like, this is exactly what someone who's going through a mental health episode needs. This is just a bunch of like burly, fucking scary looking dudes in full kits, like yelling and screaming and shit. Like, what do you expect to happen?
They're not trained to deal with that. And that's where like defunding the police comes. This is that it would give more of the money that's going to the police to mental health advocacy, putting mental health workers on their team so that those people can go and they're trained individuals. They can go and they can deal with that. Police are not trained for that.
No, not at all.
Go ahead.
I'd like to see how the program's set up for these mental health advocates, because if it is through the state, I question.
It's usually through the police.
Sorry. It's kind of sketchy to me, because I don't know, like in Michigan here, one of the times they busted a whole bunch of child sex traffickers. There was a whole bunch of CPS caseworkers that were busted and other police officers that were busted right here in Michigan.
I remember that.
So, yeah, like,
it's a step,
maybe we should have a separate entity that is
like a third party or something.
Well,
yeah, I don't want the police involved with pretty much anything. I'd rather see them all go away because at this point, I don't think they can be fixed.
Yeah, Hibiscus brings up a woman was shot and killed in Fort Worth by a cop doing a welfare check because her front door was open, and instead of knocking, he crept through her backyard, and she saw him, shot, and she saw him, didn't know who he was, assumed he was a stranger, so she grabbed her gun and he shot her.
Was that the one where she was playing video games with her nephew?
No, the video game
No,
one.
that
was in Arizona, to where it was a noise complaint, and the cops went up and banged on the door, and the guy opened the door to lean out, and he had a handgun on his side. He's like, "Who's there?" And the cops shot him in the side of the head.
I'm talking the one where the cops went through a side yard because nobody answered the front door, and then shot a woman through her window while she was playing video games with her nephew.
There was also one where she was doing her dishes.
Yep.
There's
all they know how to use
every.
They're not trained in anything but the gun. So when all you have a hammer, only tool you have is a hammer, everything looks like a fucking nail. And they just
I don't quote me on this, but I think that the agency in Colorado might be a third-party agency, but they'll go through, the 911 operator will get the call, and then that operator contacts that agency. Lansing, those advocates are through the police station, and the call goes into 911, and then it gets patched through to their phone in the police station, because they always send out one officer and one advocate.
Yeah, and definitely with when it comes to third parties and stuff like that, I would be perfectly comfortable with having a third party mental health expert in the jail that has nothing to do with the jail and no connection to the jail, and is essentially there to not only keep up on the welfare of people that are in the jail, but also check the fucking cops. So if they try to do something and try to lie on it, there's a third party there that's hey, this is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm going on. Because there's a lot of other abuses that go on.
I like that idea.
God forbid we go into the amount of sexual assault and shit that happens in jail.
Right.
Yeah.
Tatiana Jefferson was the woman's name we were talking about that got shot on a welfare check.
Also, real quick, going back to Anthony Rios, the group in Ohio is planning on doing an action May 8th, which is the Day of Remembrance. So we spent
the last 20 minutes talking about all the events going on.
Yeah, we gotta get to Black Flag, but we'll have more information when it gets closer to that date to let people know about that.
We will be there.
Yes.
Yeah, and
real quick, I'd like to talk.
I'll go for it, Mac.
Real quick, town I lived in before, and a jail that I've actually been incarcerated in, had a death in 2010. Man's name was Marcus Middleton. He had reported extensive mental harassment from the police, the jailers, and other residents in the jail, other incarcerated people, because he was an effeminate gay man. At 23 days in jail, he killed himself, supposedly. Now, this county has had 3 other suicided people. I say suicided people because the official report says suicide, but it's a smaller area. It is a DOT jail, which is, or not DOT, DOC jail. So
yeah, right here, Noble County Sheriff's Department and jail staff are facing a wrongful death lawsuit after a gay inmate killed himself in their jail after being denied mental health treatment and enduring harassment over his sexuality. And he was in there for 9 days for driving without a license.
Which is insane.
I think he ended up, doesn't the article say 23 days because he couldn't bond out? Or something. Maybe I'm thinking of something else, but yeah, he was extensively harassed. And what I'm getting at, though, is no matter how small the jail is, no matter if it's a big one, a little one, a big county, a little county, a small town jail, there is always a story like this. Somebody died in jail under mysterious circumstances, and it got swept under the rug.
What city and state is that in?
Noble County is Albion, Indiana.
So it's like Northeast Indiana.
There you go. We got the tri-state right there.
Yeah, tri-state fuck ups.
Yeah.
Angola, Indiana has had them, and that's a private city jail. LaGrange County has a DOC jail and has had multiple of them. I lived in that whole corner of Indiana, and I'll tell you what, there is not a single cop around there who isn't corrupt as hell. They're a bunch of racists, rapists, and murderers. In school, there was a town that all the girls knew you didn't drive through at night once you started driving, because a cop would pull you over and threaten you to do sexual favors. You know, once
like I said,
girls,
I wish I had the literature. I like the sources pulled up, but I do know for a fact that like not even just women, like men too. There is tons of shady shit when it comes to sexual harassment and sexual assault in jail, let alone prison. Prison's a whole other fucking can of worms. And nothing seems to happen with it. And occasionally you'll get stories of like, corrections officer arrested for after like sexually assaulting like 200 women or some shit. And it's like, how the fuck did it get to 200? You know, like what the fuck?
Well, isn't it? It's here in Michigan, I believe, where officers can have sex with people that they detain.
Yeah, there was that giant shit show because that was ruled. I remember that.
Yeah,
which is fucking
like what? How is that not coerced? Like you're in a figure, you're an authority figure. Yeah.
Startles me. Yeah. Okay. So the event in Ohio, and then Black Flag, your event. Actually, if you want to go through yours first, homie, of what you got going on over there, kind of like the story behind what's happening, and date, time, place, all that shit.
All right. So we got a situation. South Carolina is probably, if not the racist state, most racist state, one of them. So we got this kid, Stephen Hopkins. He's arrested. He's punched in the eye with a pair of handcuffs. So
yeah, I got the video right here.
This is not even. This is most of the stuff I'm telling you is left out of what we're going there for. What we're going there for is the part where he gets his head slammed inside the car door, which is this video right here.
Yeah, I'm gonna play the video right now. Yeah, I've seen this. This is so fucked up.
I'm on camera. And you hear him saying, "I'm on camera. I got y'all." And it's
and I heard the cop's excuse. He was like, "Oh, I didn't know his head was in the way."
Right.
Like, what the fuck? You literally you're looking at the door. He's right there. Like, what do you mean you don't?
And let's remember the sheriff of this town. I think his name is Hobart Lewis. He is also on record saying George Floyd caused his own death. So that gives you an idea of what type of people they are as a whole. If top guys talking like that,
right?
You could imagine what other cops are saying.
That is unacceptable.
So what's the date y'all got going on? Where's it at?
The date is March 6th, which is this Saturday, and it's in Greenville at 4 p.m. I mean, if it's going to be what I think it is, it's going to be jam-packed. There's going to be Black Lives Matter there. There's going to be Black Flag Community Defense Group, the original Black Panthers, new Black Panthers, a group out of Charleston called People's Army, which is the anti-fascist group.
Yeah, I've actually seen videos of them. They roll pretty hardcore.
Yeah. People's Army, yeah. Those my.
I wish you weren't so far away.
I know. I wanted to come out so bad.
Yeah, like People's Army, they don't fuck around.
That's why I'm setting up the GoFundMe shortly. I'll probably release it after this, because all I want the GoFundMe money to go to is so like Kitty and Summer and me can go to like events like yours.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
so we can literally just put gas in our tank and go around and show up to all these fucking places.
Yeah. Yep.
And what's the date on that event if it's in Greenville?
This Saturday, March 6th at 4 p.m. in Greenville, South Carolina.
Word.
And if you and on that video, another disturbing thing is like after they slammed his head in the door, there's the other cop comes out there. He's like, "Well, you better watch yourself. We'll do it again." And I'm like, "What the fuck, dog?" Like,
right, unnecessary freaking comments. Like, just shut up. Don't be rude.
And that just shows like where your mentality's at, man. Because like.
Right.
Like I've been in fights that I didn't want to hurt the other person. I was just defending myself, and I ain't sitting there like, yeah, motherfucker, I'm gonna fuck you up, like, and then turn around and be like, oh, I'm innocent. I didn't have anything, like. It shows what you're thinking from. You're literally taunting the man. He's in handcuffs. You just fucking smashed a car. And again, cop car door, not like a regular car door. I'll remind people that thing's thick. That thing's heavy. I'm amazed. I'm amazed he took it like he did and didn't get knocked the fuck out from it because it probably would knock me out.
Well, the thing is like, why didn't he could have made sure he was away from the car before shutting the door.
Yeah.
It was intentional.
Yeah, like what?
Completely intentional.
What's your fear that he's gonna crawl into the back of the cop car? Like, okay, cool. You know,
and then, like, he's still just laying down. Why? Like, I don't understand how there's no fucking compassion or human decency ever. It like hurts my soul. Like, I don't get it. There's none.
This video is actually from fucking 2019. So all of a sudden the video surfaces and they try to suspend the cop. Like 2 days ago when they hear that we're coming out there with all these different groups and shit, all of a sudden a year later he's suspended. When the video surfaces. That's the whole thing. Is like, wow, we out here, we coming and we coming armed and all these unity groups and all the boys coming out there, everybody. Now it's like, oh shit, we need to do something about it. But that's not going to stop anything because we're still coming Saturday. We want them fired. We want them gone.
Right.
Yeah. Without retirement, without benefits.
Yep.
Right.
Like, make sure he can't go to another precinct and sign up there because that's what they like to do.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people kind of slept on it, but the Derek Chauvin trial is going on right now in fucking Minneapolis. So we're gonna see how that fucking turns out. And a lot of people forget that, like, they're like, oh, he lost his job. We won. The cop was fired. And then you actually learn that he's still getting his pension. You're gonna be paying for that cop for the rest of your fucking life, the rest of his life. And it again,
he deserves to be behind bars.
Well, and I'm sorry, losing your job isn't enough for me. So it's just not.
If I beat the shit out of somebody or killed somebody, I don't just get fired from my fucking job.
No.
Let alone paid the rest of my life. It's almost profitable to have this happen because you're essentially giving them a early retirement. So it's telling these cops like, yo, you can literally just kill a black dude and then you'll just get paid for the rest of your life and you don't even have to actually work for it.
They don't even have to be black people. I mean, we've seen that.
Yeah,
that they're killing everybody. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, they're killing. And that a lot of that's why I hate like the narrative around like the whole fucking thing of. The conservatives are always like, when the cops kill the white dude, you don't ever see riots or protests, and it's like because none of you motherfuckers show up because you don't care. Like none of these Trump people cared about Anthony. None of these Trump people cared about fucking Duncan, like
or Alexander or the
anyone.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they don't care. They want to say all lives matter, but they don't care. They actually don't care about that, because if they did, then why wouldn't they be out there as well,
Yes, exactly.
Because I got a lot of fucking flack from like, this was way early in the beginning of like the Boogaloo shit I posted a video being like, because a lot of my friends are like conservative dudes. And I'm like, I don't want to see you posting all lives matter anymore because when the cops killed Duncan, we tried to put a protest on for him, and none of you motherfuckers showed up. And you're gun-loving, come take my guns, come and take it, blah, blah, blah. And this man was literally killed in a gun raid, and you didn't even fucking show up to his funeral, his memorial, his protest. So, like, don't you dare say that fucking word around me anymore. You got to earn that, and none of you have. So it's like...
To me, it's like conservatives see Black Lives Matter as a organization when I was a Black Lives That Matters before that was even an organization. That's what they forget. They see it. They see the anti-fascists saying Black Lives Matter, and they thinking they're trying to hijack the shit. But before it was a fucking group, I was fucking a little black boy. Like that shit. I'm really a Black life that fucking matters. Like I don't understand where you can say Black lives don't matter or our lives matter. It's not about Black Lives Matter.
No.
It's about Black Lives
Yeah, it's the
Matter.
idea of it. And
And they more than matter.
Yeah, the
You know?
media just doesn't get it because they don't understand us. They don't understand fucking anti-fascist groups. They don't understand BLM activists because they can only think of it as like an organization.
Yeah.
We're like,
Right.
you kitty, you just literally went like, well, let's go have a fucking protest. And then like your quote unquote local organization just grew from there. There was no corporate master in DC,
Soros.
the head of BLM that was like,
Right.
here you go. This is your region to protest in.
I'm
Like,
waiting on my Soros check right now.
Right.
Nancy in HR is really pissing me off with that.
Word.
Yeah, they
I
just
mean,
don't
maybe
get
I
this
haven't
shit
thrown
fucking
enough
either.
Molotovs, to reach the quota for this month.
You haven't.
Where's the checks, George? Where's the
Yeah.
checks?
Wait, aren't our membership dues, are those due end of March or April for Antifa? Like,
Yeah, and they don't.
or is it like a license thing they come up due with your birthday?
Is there a retirement package?
Here's your starter package. You get a
Right.
Molotov and
If you want to talk about what's going on over in Ohio real quick before we wrap this up, Kitty, because they have that event that's happening there.
the one in May.
The one you were just talking about. Am I blanking? Did I fuck up?
It's
May.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll bring more information when we
Yeah,
get it.
we're developing it, or it's currently being organized.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then,
And adding, how you mentioned that they just now suspended the police officer. All the police officers that were involved in Anthony's case are still working at the jail. They're still just.
I bet they didn't even get like a
checking
training
in every day.
Yeah, I bet they didn't even get a training meeting or like a checkup or anything else. Like
Right.
if you work
Not even administrative leave, nothing.
you work in a factory and you bump something with a fork truck, you have a fucking safety meeting about it. But the cops can literally kill somebody, and it's like, oh, we'll see you tomorrow, Tim.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to ask you, Black Tyke. So it's Stefan, right?
Yeah, Stefan Hopkins.
Is he going to be there on Saturday?
I am not sure, but
I don't know.
would
Is
think
he?
So.
Oh, it worked this time. Holy crap.
Yeah, he's back. Yeah, I know in a lot of cases like that, even if it happened a year ago, just like showing up can make the legal side of it even more fucked up. So I don't blame him for not showing up, because that's the first thing. That's the first thing the lawyer is going to do is like, look at him antagonizing at this fucking protest.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and that that's the thing too. When you do protests in people's names or in families' names, you have to remember, like, hold on a second. Sorry. Stupid cat. What does the family view as justice? Do they want the cops fired? Do they want to see him put in jail? Do they just want to win the lawsuit? So as activists, when we go out there and we're fighting for justice for people, we have to take into consideration what the family wants also, and if any of our actions would hurt what they're going for.
And that's why I like you guys so much. It's like, especially, the same things that going on in South Carolina is that like people actually talk to the people that are most affected and be like, well, what do you want? Because it's not about like the PR and the publicity or running around yelling chants. Like, you're actually trying to accomplish something here. And a lot of people kind of do skip the whole step of like, going and speaking to somebody. Because we had the same thing with the Garrett Foster event. We almost didn't put it on because his wife and his mom went back and forth on even having like a vigil. And finally they're like, go for it. So we weren't going to do it because she didn't want us to until she said it was okay. And a lot of people kind of skipped that.
Right.
Is there going to be something going on for Duncan Lemp?
The main problem is the person that was running Duncan's year anniversary protest was he who will not be named, the Fed.
Oh.
And ever since he's, gone down like the rat he is, we don't know who's organizing or running it anymore. So we're trying to figure it out. His family doesn't want it to be an armed march. So that kind of like caused some clusterfucks among people. Because obviously, again, just like we're talking about, some people seem to be more interested in what they want instead of what the family wants. But we're trying to figure something. That was supposed to be this month. So I have to look back into it. It's kind of got lost in the shuffle. And again, fucking Mike Dunn was the one running like at the spearhead of figuring out what was going on. So now everything's fucked up because of that.
Yeah, because he was he was murdered, and then Breonna Taylor was murdered. Like,
yeah, within 48 hours of each other, like very similar circumstances. And I got into a fucking argument with this socialist dude on YouTube because he's like, you know that comparing Duncan Lemp and Breonna Taylor sounds like some all lives matter stuff. And I'm like, fuck you, dude. Are you kidding me? Like, are you fucking like I can't point out that both of these instances, the police tried to fuck over a gun owner and killed them in their fucking bed, pretty much.
Right.
they were both no-knocks. Like,
They're both no-knocks, both under bullshit circumstances. The warrants were under bullshit circumstances, and in both instances, the cops lied about what happened. But bringing up parallels between those is some all lives matter shit. Apparently, is what I was told. Sorry, that just still pisses me off to this day. I had that conversation with that dude.
And, I think, another thing we can bring up about, we are working on unity, and like, we had mentioned, or Zach mentioned, the GoFundMe so that people from the UVA could go and stand in solidarity with these other groups. And I think, if other groups do that, and you said you've got like what, 5-6 different groups that are showing up in Greenville, like that's amazing.
Yeah.
And also when people realize that when they go and stand in solidarity, also, get in contact with the main group to see how that city runs. As an organizer here in Lansing, if we know a group's coming in, we always reach out to them, because we don't want people coming into our city and messing it up, and then we got to clean it up.
Right.
So,
and share numbers too, because like you never know what connection, what kind of thing's going to happen like in the future. Like, unfortunately, we can't pretend that we're going to go the next year and nobody's going to get fucked over or killed by the police. And like having those connections already built up makes the next action more effective and the next action more effective, which is super cool. I'm going to keep an eye on South Carolina, and I'm actually going to try to see if Ford Fisher wants to go out there because that's kind of his jam and cover it.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
Because I know he had People's Army, right? I think that's what they're called, or like People's Resistance. He had filmed them before in
Atlanta. At Atlanta, I believe.
Yeah. So he had actually been there. So he already has contacts with some of those people. So I'll see if I can get him there and get coverage on that event, because I'm really excited and I'm curious for how that's going to go. But yeah, anything else anyone wants to end real quick now that we've hit an hour? Wrap this up.
I would like to do. I don't know how long it's going to take. Maybe we can do it after the events that have gone on, and see, like, give an update on these cases, to see what's happened, how they went, what, how they're moving forward and stuff like that.
Yeah, the Derek Chauvin trial is probably going to finish up. So like next week we can definitely kind of like
Circle back.
Yeah, and then just any time, as we run out of general topics, this will kind of become more of like a weekly update on what's going on, as also we get more people we're talking to and everything. And definitely like, because a lot of the times the news will forget to mention this shit. Like, I didn't even know the Derek Chauvin trial was fucking happening until a journalist called me this morning and was like, "Oh, I'm in Minneapolis for the Derek Chauvin trial," and I was like, "Oh fuck, that's happening," because nobody's talking about it.
Right?
Like, there's no news coverage on it, even though that should be like a big fucking deal.
I saw one national news article about the Chauvin trial, about how Minneapolis is fortifying their areas, the police stations and the courthouses. That's all I saw.
But yeah,
it looked like the beginning of the Berlin Wall. They had like a wall and barbed wire fence, and then
razor
between
wire.
that barbed wire fence, and then on the other side, like, why are you guys expecting the verdict to be there?
That's why I told people from the very beginning. I'm like, you're fucking high if you don't think this dude's gonna walk.
Right.
He's gonna fucking walk. So don't sit there and prepare. Like, don't be like, well, I'm gonna wait to prepare to put on an event or something till after the announcement. We already know what the announcement's gonna be. Get in order now, because they're getting ready.
We've seen it time and time again. It happened in Louisville. They made up a protest area, a demonstration area, when the AG was going to come out with the verdict. They did it in Kenosha. Same thing. It's not going to be good.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, they're already preparing.
So we'll keep an eye on that, and then obviously, I don't know. Depending how it goes, I might fucking drive out there. We'll see.
Right. That's an option too.
And Summer, you got anything you want to say on the closing?
No.
That's fine. You're so adorable.
We always like to put people on the spot. Come on.
How about you, Mac?
Stay free.
If Mac can hear me.
I can hear you.
Yeah, anything to say in closing before we wrap this up?
All cops are bastards.
Hey, my man. How about you? We got South Carolina thing on. I'll keep me updated on that. And you got anything to say on closing before we get out of here, my friend?
Fuck Dylan Roof.
A lot of people forgot about that motherfucker too.
Yeah, I didn't forget. That was 3 miles away from my house. I didn't forget.
Wow, that fucking dude. You probably heard the shots. That's fucked.
Yep.
Yep. And don't forget, he got a hamburger.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate.
Wait, can I put out a shout out to support local, support Black?
Oh, the Black Wall Street Lansing. I fucking love that. Yeah. You have to get me one of those shirts, or at least tell me where to get one myself.
Yeah,
most definitely. Yep. They're Monday was their second think tank. It went really well. And they've got a lot of great ideas. So they've got a lot of cool merchandise too.
That's what I love to see.
Yeah. That's where the Human Target shirt that I got was from. Yep.
So morbid, but so true. I love it.
Yeah. But I just wanted to end it on a light note because this podcast was pretty heavy.
Yeah.
I need to go chain smoke some cigarettes and fucking mellow back out after this.
Me too.
We need to talk about the Unity barbecue. I want some barbecue.
We need to get another one of those going. Yeah, I'll try. Maybe have that happen when Jafari comes up here because I'm trying. Jafari Jones wants to come up and have a little powwow in Michigan with everybody. So.
Oh yeah.
If anybody got a few ideas we can throw around.
Yeah, Jafari Jones. He runs a BLM 757 in in Virginia. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, we'll have to do a Unity barbecue someplace in between the North and the South, so we all can meet.
Yeah. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. We'll catch you again next week. And as always, stay safe, stay free. Love ya.
Love y'all.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace, love, and